I have a lot of faith that someone from our St. Clair roster is going pro, so for one of us to go pro.
I just hope they don't f up like the maps, and I hope like the NACE works.
See how much I can be better than this COD.
Upling's gonna be back.
Getting the feel of the old CODs back and then mixed with the new ones. What I'm most looking forward to is to see like all the boys make it.
Div Winland.
I think it's just a win. Like, our team has been going through a lot of changes. I want to see how far we can push it and see if we can finish third or get like a podium.
Looking forward to competing with tough opponents and having a good time with my team.
I really want to break that top 5, top 4 threshold.
Winning seal.
I'm looking for a revenge on CCL.
Getting top 4.
To be honest, nothing. I don't really have anything to look forward to. Next semester is what I'm looking forward to.
I'm looking to win CCL. We only lost that one, so. Yo, MP.
Yeah, no, this map is actually crazy, I'm not gonna lie.
Water man.
Yo, Chris God, what the hell are you doing, bro? We got a match, bro. You're late.
Yo, I gotta go.
Yo, log in,
Yo,
bro.
I gotta go. Now I'm good.
First gamer tag. In like 2008, I had the gamer tag Apple i50.
McBender 91.
Alonso.
Oh, it's a terrible gamer tag. Dan2 Rock 4.
God Rupert. C9 Frosty. I wasn't on C9.
Sock my sock. Like the Pokemon, not like I don't know. Yeah.
Electro knives. Oof, oof. 2 Z's, by the way. Oof. I don't know what I was thinking.
It was like either Mega Jack or Super Jack and then some numbers when I was like 6 years old on Minecraft.
That's absolutely horrible.
My name is Christopher C. Wads Odell. I play Call of Duty, and I'm an AR.
In the driver's seat, not much resistance as C-Wads puts an end to that. Oh my goodness, what a headshot. As well as another member of the Huskies looking to take him out, but he cannot.
So the way I got into COD is actually, it's really on my friend Steele. Steele really played a big part of it. So we went to an event, I met him in middle school, and we ended up going to a MOG Anaheim, and it was the year of World War II, so whenever that was, and he was like, yo, I'm gonna be, we weren't really the closest of friends, but he was like, yo, I'm gonna be going to the event as well. And he was at a booth when he was on E United before he went pro, and my homie Steele, he waited in line for, I think it was like 2 hours to play against him. We ended up playing against him, and we beat him in the 2v2. And then my dad was really into competitive Call of Duty, so then he was like, that Christmas is when I got my PlayStation, my scuff, my monitor, and he said, here, go see what you can do in COD. I would say it was, I wouldn't say like a struggled through childhood, but like it was definitely a little rough childhood. So like with my dad playing baseball, obviously like he was traveling, and it was hard for me to like see him while he's like obviously across the world playing baseball. So there was a point in time where I eventually needed more support, and he gave up what he had to do and came and supported me. So like he takes like a lot of pride in pride in me, I guess you could say, right? So always throughout life, it was always like, no matter what, like if I had a goal, if I had a passion, he would always support it no matter what it was. It didn't have to be about a sport. It didn't have to be, it could be coloring a book. It could be coloring a book, bro. Like if I like coloring, he's gonna support that all the way through. Like I can't remember a time when my dad told me like, know something about my passion. Like if it was something you could tell I was passionate about, he always like made sure it happened. No matter what, he's always told me like, oh, I'm gonna go pro in something. Like no matter what it is, he knows like I have that strong attributes of just like he was a baseball player, so he knows like he's really like pushing me to go take the next step. Like he knows like it's more of a mental thing than actually like it happening. Like I already have all the skill set. But I would
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Saints Nation, back to some NACE COD quarterfinals here at the Nexus Arena. I'm Patrick Smoke Chambers, joined by Brendan Zero Clements and not really Evan Johnson. Guys, we got St. Clair going up against Wichita. What are we sort of thinking about the matchup?
Well, I think, it's should hopefully be easy for St. Clair. We were sort of breaking it down before. I mean, it's a 1 seed versus an 8 seed, so obviously on paper that definitely looks maybe a little scary at times, but when you really break it down, Wichita, not a member of the NACE Super Conference, so I think that at the very least shows the level that St. Clair is at right now, that skill discrepancy there. I think St. Clair is going to have an easy time tonight.
Yeah, honestly, I think this is just one for the books for St. Clair. I don't see Wichita holding much of a candle up to St. Clair today. It might be a little bit like St. Clair ego here, but I see this one going in 3-0 fashion pretty quickly. I mean, you do have top seed versus bottom seed in the remaining teams that are left, so you know me, I like to be a believer and root for an underdog, but it's playoffs now and that kind of thing. Just it's so unlikely during the regular season. Now that we're in playoffs, it's just even less so. So, 3-0 fashion. Get the broom ready now. Sweep him out of here.
Yeah, I think I kind of have to agree. Again, Wichita, you know what? They are coming off of a 3-0 sweep of Akron in the round of 16. But that being said, this lineup that they're going up against tonight is a different beast. Seawads, Cootie, KB, Rupert, these guys have just been absolutely going feral the entire regular season, and they haven't stopped in playoffs either. They just came out of a series last round of 16 against USF, and guys, I'm going to read out these stats of these 3 games right here. This is brutal, right? I'll even start with the closest one, S&D at 6-2. Then Control was game 3 where St. Clair took it in 3-1 fashion. But these both happened off of the back of a game 1 tempo setter on hardpoint where the score was 250 to 26. Oof. They gave up 26 points on hardpoint. I'm pretty certain that might be the lowest that we've actually had throughout the regular season and this playoff game so far. So, hey, you know what? If they're looking to get another record tonight, don't give up 26 seconds, not even that, of control on hardpoint. I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's sort of what we come to expect from the St. Clair team. Obviously, setting that tempo, especially on map number 1, is so crucial to coming out on top of the series, and that's why they're so dominant, because they do find a way to set that tone so early, and I'm expecting that same thing to happen tonight. We talked about the maps a little bit. We got to see what the maps are going to be, starting on Vault on hardpoint, go to Dealership, Vault's Control, Hacienda a hardpoint, Protocol, S&D. I think starting on St. Clair's map pick, their host map pick of Vault hardpoint, it's their best hardpoint map, one of their best modes. They should be able to set the tone perfectly once they get into that. And, looking at S&D and Control as well, yes, you do lose, 1 round of Control, a mode that they've been very strong in for the regular season for the most part. But it doesn't matter if you only give up 1 if you end with 3 at the end of the night. So I think they'll take it either way. And, again, I think the guys are just super locked in tonight. They didn't seem super worried when we talked to them this morning. And I think they're going to be really confident going into the series.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's a really great way for them how the regular season just ended in general. And I'm not even talking about the result, but I'm talking about the format. The fact that right before playoffs, you have a game against Cumberland in the end of the regular season. I mean, I'm not even talking for seeding, but just to get the hands warmed up, to get into that mode that you need to be in for the next couple of weeks down the line. I mean, perfect opponent, pretty much treated like a high-level scrim, if anything, before these playoff series. So I mean, you got to just think the confidence has got to be through the roof for these guys right now.
And again, like they said, you know, they want this to be good. They want this to be quick and easy because they want to go back to grinding Black Ops 7. So I
Yes.
think, you know, they have some other things that they're thinking about right now. And if that's the mindset tonight, I should expect nothing less than a 3-0.
Yeah, honestly, their main goal here is to get out of this and go play BO7. And I mean, who can blame them? The hype is around, obviously. They were saying earlier, like, yeah, you just want to get this over with and go play BO7. And I mean, how can you not? You know, it's the hype that comes around when the new game comes out, especially in a franchise you love. Like, I know when the next Fallout game comes out, I'll be disappearing off the face of the earth for a month. So, I mean, can't blame these guys for wanting to get this game over with and get right into some BO7. Hopefully, they're able to do this in the 3-0 fashion that we hope, so that they can go play their BO7.
Right, but I mean, let's talk about Wichita for just a little bit of a moment here, right? We've obviously given our predictions. We're all very confident in St. Clair, but that being said, you can definitely fall into the trap of underestimating your opponents. Wichita State lineup since last series being produced of Deucer, Kaiser, Colliplier, and also Capfell. So these guys coached by Squeegee. Again, you got to think, as their series from Akron was a 3-0 sweep. Listen, St. Clair was able to do it. Wichita was able to do it as well. And mind you, Akron, while they are going through an overhauled roster, we're still a team in the Super Conference. So, again, very much an upset win for Wichita, and they made mincemeat of them. 250 to 87 on hardpoint, 6-1 for SND, and also 3-1, very much like our Saints did to USF up above in that other round of 16 matchups. So, getting through a clean series themselves, they're also looking poised heading into this one.
Yeah, and again, it's, you know, obviously when you get into playoffs, every match is going to mean something, right? It doesn't get easier from here for this part of the series, but I can't really see them falling into that trap game mentality because from the very beginning of the season, they know what their goal is, and that's to be the best and win a championship, right? And good teams find a way to, you know, be on this path, you know, use these stepping stones to get to their goal. And I think right now that's the destination right now. Obviously, you want to talk about the journey before the destination, but in this case, I think St. Clair is on the right path to get to where they want to be, and I think we're just going to see that tonight. This is another good practice, another good litmus test to see how they fare against the top teams. I mean, we can assume that if they made it to the finals of NACE, it most likely is going to be Cumberland on the other side, but before that, they have to get through Wichita at least, and if they can make it out of today, they have LBCC waiting in the semifinals.
Yeah, they do, and I mean, just looking at the other side of the bracket here, we have Cumberland and Conestoga already meeting up in the semis. So, again, it is really just us waiting in line. LBCC waiting in line as well. The last time we had a matchup against them did pretty decent as well, but they're a team that has definitely showed some bite back. I believe actually taking a game off of Cumberland in the regular season as well, if my memory does serve me correct. If not, then it was definitely against Conestoga. It was one of those two. So at the same time, those guys got what it takes to give the Saints a little bit of a run for their money. But then again, I think that I got to stick kind of pretty bland here, in my opinion. I mean, I don't see anybody else with the momentum that everyone's riding off of from the Super Conference. I don't see anybody else other than Cumberland and St. Clair being your grand finalists.
Yeah, honestly, it's the teams you expected to see here at this point in the season and this far into the playoffs. I mean, the remaining teams, it's just, you know, they're expected. They're expected to be there. Cumberland, Conestoga, that'll be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, I think that actually has the makings of being an interesting game. I still would have Cumberland getting out on top there, but at the same time, Conestoga's a team that can make things very interesting. We know them as former scrim partners as well, and they've definitely done their job against us on a couple of hard points. So, you know, at the same time, Cumberland, they are kind of a different beast, but again, interesting matchup nonetheless.
No, for sure. And, you know, we won't have to thankfully, St. Clair will only get to face one of those two teams as they head into the further parts of this bracket. You know, you look at which side they're on. I definitely think St. Clair has the favorable side, quote unquote. Obviously, again, nothing is easy once you get into the playoffs. Every game is going to be a dogfight, but I think at least on paper, I think St. Clair has an easier path to get to where they want to be. But again, it all comes down to if they're able to take care of their business, walk in, get things done. Don't play down to your competition. Just do what you do best, which is win and dominate. And I think they should have no problem tonight.
Yeah, looking at the map pool that you pointed out, 2 of the first 3 maps on Vault, and we also have host advantage for games 1 and 3. If you are Wichita right now, what are your keys to victory? And I ask this because I'm genuinely curious myself to see what you guys can even come up with to take down and pull off the upset of what would be like the century in collegiate COD here and taking down St. Clair.
I think it comes with throwing St. Clair off their game. I think St. Clair is going to take Hardpoint fairly easily on Vault. Like you said, it's one of their best modes. It's one of their best maps, so I think they're going to lock that one in. But dealership S&D does get a little interesting. We know that St. Clair struggled against Cumberland on that map when they played them in the regular season. So obviously we're talking about 2 different teams when you have Wichita and Cumberland together. But there were some struggles that Cumberland was able to exploit just using the map and like catching St. Clair on these weird rotations or just coming through very weird angles to throw them off their game. If Wichita is smart, they've done their homework on that match and can maybe try and exploit some of these entrances and some of these rotations against St. Clair. But besides that, I think just playing your best game you've ever played right now, like it has to, it really just has to be that, right? You just have to live up to the moment and hope that you can at least put some chinks in that armor and slowly chip away. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them. I think at the very least this one goes to game 4. But I think if we see Hardpoint again, I think St. Clair is just not going to let them. They're just not going to drop another one if they got there.
Yeah, I have to agree here. I mean, getting through St. Clair's defense is going to be the biggest thing. These guys are so solid at holding down points once they get a hold of it. So that's really going to be the only hope for Wichita, is just really ruffling up their feathers and just finding a way to throw them off and just get under their skin and just be that nuisance.
Yeah, if I flip the script, right, it seems like Wichita, it's just got to be a little bit of a peak for gameplay. But as the fist bumps go around, St. Clair, we know what they need to do to win. They just got to control the tempo. All 4 of these players have the potential to pop off when needed, but the wait no longer has to happen. We are heading in very shortly. NACE quarterfinals, St. Clair up against Wichita.
It's going to be a good game. Like you were teeing up, Smoke, players getting ready to go, leaning forward in those chairs, starting to get ready. Coach Brandon gave them some final words of advice before they hop into the match. It is going to be Vault. Like we said, it's going to be Hardpoint, a premier mode for this team, a team I'm fully expecting to see dominate on Vault. I mean, I think we expect nothing less from our St. Clair Saints, and look at that, they already won.
Wow.
Didn't even have to play the
It's
game.
over.
They already won. Obviously, a tech issue right off the start, so we will figure that out as soon as we can. We're at a loss for what just happened. So yeah, Smoke, welcome back. You're out of host jail now. You can talk a little bit again. Great game. What we saw. Great first map.
Let's break down that gameplay. What do we see there?
Yeah, the crosses that were held on the crosses that were held on the cars were just so good. You just KB your ARs and just carried. No, I'm just kidding.
That was a very strong
I
entry
think,
through the door.
I think that absolutely. I was gonna say, you seen the slide cancel through there too? Host was going crazy, but no. Unfortunately, this is something that we've seen happen in COD a little often. I think they're just going to be switching sides if I heard that correctly.
Classic Codcaster and everything else.
Just be quickly back in, if we get some Codcaster switches going on.
If they fix anything for Black Ops 7, I am praying that they somehow get this Codcaster fixed for the next Call of Duty, because there are so many issues that pop up when we have to do these streams. So, Treyarch, if you're listening, Activision, if you're watching this stream, I really, really hope you invest some effort into fixing the Codcaster for future broadcasts that might have to be done of your game.
I was gonna say, a AAA developer listening to community.
Hey, you never know. You never know. Could happen.
If I were a betting man, it's a very big time parlay that goes on. You'd have a lot of dough at the end of that one if it came through. No, I really hope that is the thing as well. But for St. Clair, right? I quickly mentioned keys to victory. I talked about just controlling the tempo, making sure you're running the pace, playing your game, right? Very general base things. Are there any different little intricacies that you guys have noticed about this team, stuff that they really excel at that can really put them over a team like Wichita?
Yeah, they're really good at refragging. That's one of their big strong suits. They calm very well to each other. They know the rotations like the back of their hand. They play off of each other very well, whether it's playing off of contact or just trying to full rush a site. It doesn't matter. They're able to just find a way to get it done and back up their other man, and it's next man up mentality as well. If somebody needs to step up and make the play, it doesn't matter if it's Cootie or it's KB or it doesn't matter. Everybody is able to make that big play when they need to, and nobody is selfish on this team either. Everybody is willing to either take a step back for somebody else to shine or pass it along to the next person, and that just really goes to show you how well built and how well connected this team is together.
Yeah, they work so copacetically together. I mean, they spend so much time in the past playing as a team that it's just like second nature to them now, They just have that like second-hand nature where it's just they sit down in the chairs, they're ready to go, and they just move as one, They're just ready for it. And we are going to go into game now and get things started after that short technical delay. Going to see Rupert first here going up this right side. They're going to get right into position and get this thing going underway.
Picks falling through, but don't have to wait too much longer as Cootie and Seawads getting things started for St. Clair, and St. Clair going to get the first little bit of control on this hard point. Already set in a good spot to make this hold, and now Rupert going to be set up for this potential flank to try and hold. Cootie going to get shot out by Kaiser. St. Clair does lose the point. Wichita get their first touch of the match, but Rupert with a quick refrag on the Kaiser. Now St. Clair back in control.
Rupert does go down in exchange, though, and now KB goes down as well. So Wichita really showing some grit early on in the match here, trying to keep this as even as possible. Maybe they were listening to us about being an upset, being a bit of a thorn in the proverbial side of St. Clair here, as they're keeping this pretty even so far, as this first point is going to end in a tie, 16-16. So can't get any more balanced than that for Wichita. Honestly, excellent start for them.
Yeah, KB getting shot in the back before he can escape, but does find some utility. Deucer for Wichita going crazy early, already on a 5 spree. Did get that multi-kill as well, so Wichita slowly but surely making their way through this first map. They do take the lead. Obviously, there is still a lot of game left to play, but St. Clair gonna have to start picking it up just a little bit. Wichita, they've definitely shown that they've come to play in this quarterfinal match. St. Clair gonna have to buckle their bootstraps just a little bit. They do get back on the hard point. Rupert gonna be the first one there for St. Clair as the rest of the team tries to rotate back in.
Yeah, and it seems like he did not know where his opponent was on the other side of that door, so he was just trying to hold anything down on that door to keep him out there, just keep him off the point so that St. Clair can now retake the lead. KB going down there, and now Cootie holding down the point, trying to keep them from getting in there, and he's going to do that successfully and get 2 as well, and they're going to cap that hard point and retake the lead, but now Wichita on the new point.
But quickly dispatched from Cootie. Cootie having a really strong start here. He's on a little bit of a tear, but does get taken out. Kaiser going to get that trophy system down to give himself some cover. Trying to hold this long angle, trading shots out, but not going to find any connections. St. Clair starting to build their lead back up a little bit after a rocky start on the first couple points. Rupert now on a 5 spree is St. Clair. They're able to fight back just a little bit, but Wichita still keeping it close. Kaiser does finally get rewarded for holding that long angle. See what's going to fall there, and Deucer for Wichita really putting the team on his back. You can take a look at the kill feed there. 10 kills right now is their top fragger, and he is just all over the point and all over the map right now for Wichita. If St. Clair want to lock this down early, they're going to have to find a way to shut him down.
Yeah, and just now, Wichita does retake the lead at the end of that hard point. St. Clair immediately capitalizing on the next one. St. Clair's been taking these earlier, it seems. Actually, it's kind of gone back and forth a bit. One, you'll see St. Clair take first. One, you'll see Wichita take first. But they've just been trading back and forth this whole time. Neither team really taking any leeway or pulling ahead by much. Seawads on the 3 times multi-strike, though, the multi-kill streak. And Rupert holding down that doorway off of Capfell, forcing the hand of Wichita a bit here.
Got those shots from Rupert not going to connect, but those connect from KB. And this is a hard point that St. Clair, they really want to build this lead back up. This is the one you really want to exploit. Of all the hard points on this map, this is the easiest one to hold, and Rupert already set up perfectly with that trophy system as well. Just a reminder for folks at home, if you're not well versed in Call of Duty, those trophy systems delete any utility thrown into this building, so any frag grenades or stun grenades. Very, very important for holding a defensive zone, like we see here. Another one put down by Wichita on this midpoint, but St. Clair get there first. They seem to have stonewalled Wichita just a little bit. Looks like St. Clair's woken up.
Yeah, maybe they just need to get their hands warmed up. Maybe get some pre-fire in their hands there.
Maybe, that's a good plug.
It seems like they have warmed up now and are just moving like a well-oiled machine. And Wichita does take the point back for a little bit, but St. Clair looking to re-enter very quickly. And I want to point out, we talked before the match about the possibility of St. Clair beating their record on how many points they can hold their opponent to. Wichita showing they were not going to become a statistic in St. Clair's book here, as they already are at 83. They've done quite well, given how St. Clair has held down these maps throughout the season so far. Honestly, this might be the best game I've seen, personally, casting these matches so far on this game mode.
It definitely is something that St. Clair is going to have to keep an eye on. I mean, you do have KB already in the jacuzzi hardpoint, so St. Clair's lead continuing to grow. But like you said, Wichita, they've shown a lot of fight, a lot of resilience early, so this makes it so much more important to make sure you secure this first map, because if Wichita is going to give you a hard fight, you're definitely going to want any and all rounds to go in your favor when you can get them. Rupert going to get flashed out, but it doesn't matter, as he is going to finally find that pick on Seducer, having to pull the pistol out to do it. Switching to that pistol is faster than reloading, but does finally get taken out by Kaiser, who adds a double for the side of Wichita, but that score slowly creeping up for St. Clair. KB doing his best to hold it down. Seawads helping him out as well. From what once seemed like a close match, slowly starting to slip away from Wichita. St. Clair just needing to stay the course and hopefully secure this next hard point. Rupert already on the way over there.
Yeah, and St. Clair, just as they are about to approach the 200 mark, hardpoint will swap, and it'll go to WSU Wichita first. And it's immediately contested between both, so there's a lot of push back and forth as Wichita finally passes the 100 mark. But they are so far back in this match now. A 90-point difference they need to hold down a point for a while if they want to come back at all in this match.
Gonna have to try and make a amazing comeback. KB is gonna find Catfell on this really long angle, and St. Clair gonna retake control, but it's gonna take a lot more work. Already gotta start thinking about rotating to that next hard point. It's gonna be in that close quarters building once again, and that's the one you can really start to exploit to build up a little bit of a lead. So St. Clair have to make sure that they can secure that one and not let Wichita get set up too much to potentially mount a comeback. Rupert continuing to stay hot, finding Kaiser. As you can see, Wichita already trying to get set up for this hard point. KB isn't going to clear out. He cannot clear out Capfell. He is going to fall, but St. Clair still prevail, and they take that hard point. If they could secure this one for just 30 more seconds, they will win map 1.
Yeah, and once again, we see just an excellent refrag on St. Clair's side there. As the first person to go in did go down, but then it was immediately answered. So St. Clair was able to back their team up and then retake the point to get some more stacked up and get a little bit more of a gap over Wichita here. Wichita, though, still not willing to let this game go. They're at 130 now, still a 100-point difference here. But if they can just hold down these points for a bit, they can close that gap quite quickly. It may seem like a big gap, but it closes quite fast when you hold down a point for uncontested amounts of time.
Just about 7 seconds left of possible point scoring. So St. Clair have to secure another hard point if they want to win this one. It's going to be going back to the middle of the map, back to the first hard point of the series. And we have 3 Saints already in the vicinity of that one, so they are absolutely prepared for this last hold potentially. KB is going to be the lone man out, trying to find these respawning members of Wichita. Cootie is going to fall, but it doesn't matter. Only 3 seconds left, and the Saints do fall off the point. Wichita, a last-ditch effort to try and extend the series, but it doesn't matter for too much longer. As long as St. Clair can just clear it out and hold it for a couple more seconds, they are going to come out with the win. Just need to throw bodies on the hard point now, try and stay alive. That's exactly what Cootie is going to do. St. Clair, after a rocky start, a dominating win on hard point.
That was actually quite impressive from Wichita, though. I want to point out 145 to 250, your final score there. 145, is that the most we've seen all season? I know I wasn't able to cast every game, so I haven't...
I think that Cumberland series, correct me if I'm wrong, Smoke, because you're allowed to talk again now that the game's over. I believe Cumberland did take a match of hardpoint off of St. Clair. If they didn't, it was very, very close.
Yeah, no, they did. They did take hardpoint off of St. Clair. So we have actually seen St. Clair lose on hardpoint in the regular season. But that being said, that is not the case for right now. I will say, Wichita, they did a really good job of holding it down when they needed to, but at the same time, I feel like when St. Clair really just has the map control and the spread that they can create with their crossfires and the angles that they can hold, man, they get fixated, they get their boots strapped in, and they get their feet dug in. It's really hard to remove them off of a set defense that you have set up. And, you know, St. Clair, there's just really no team in Collegiate COD other than Cumberland who can really contest them on that front, in my opinion. That being said, a close game of hardpoint means potentially a very interesting game of S&D. Going to dealership as well. We know St. Clair, they've had their hiccups on this map recently. Granted, it was against Cumberland, but that being said, it means that they are not perfect, and there are things that they can iron out. So, what do you guys think about S&D dealership going forward?
I think if there's any map that St. Clair is going to drop in this series potentially, I think it's going to be this one. I think Wichita, I gotta give Deuce credit as well. He was balling out when needed to for Wichita in the last game. He looked really, really strong. I liked what I saw from him. He's going to be a problem, especially when you don't have the luxury of respawning as much as you can in hardpoint. So if St. Clair can't find an answer for him, if they let Deuce start cooking a little bit, that might cause some problems as they head later into this S&D map. But thankfully, S&D round-based, so even if you have a couple bad rounds here and there, as long as you can rebound and get back into the swing of things, you should have no problem potentially. But I do think St. Clair, they can't let their foot off the gas just because of how they performed on hardpoint, because I think Wichita took a little bit more points off of them than they were expecting. So as long as they can continue to be locked in, find an answer for these heroic plays that Deuce was setting up for Wichita, they should be fine.
Yeah, I agree with you on the fact that this could be the map that Wichita does take off of them. It is the map that seems to be the hardest for St. Clair to kind of just lock down overall. But in the end, I'm going to keep the faith this time around, and I still think that they're going to win this in 3-0 fashion and take this one.
Yeah, and now it is going to seem that Wichita is going to be going into a very contested S&D, and Wichita State looking very poised, at least in the hardpoint game that we just got out of. So, going to be an interesting one going forward here. Now, let's just say that if Wichita State do come out on top, this one goes to map 4. It's going to be Hacienda on hardpoint. Let's just get a little bit of a breakdown before we move into game 2 about what you guys think about Hacienda and how St. Clair's been on that map so far this season.
Well, it's another one of their good maps. I would say that. I think that's a comfortable pick coming through from St. Clair. It's one of those maps where if you let St. Clair do whatever they want, you're going to have a bad time. There are some really bad spawn traps that St. Clair likes to exploit on both ends of the map. It's set up in such a way that St. Clair plays it so well that they just absolutely will farm you and shred you if you don't if you don't control the map for their favor, if you just let St. Clair do whatever you want, then, like we said, you're going to have a bad time on a map that they are so strong on. That's why I was saying, like, if for some reason they do drop this map, I think that's going to be a dominant win coming through from St. Clair, because I don't think they're going to want to lose or go to Game 5 in this one. Like we said, they know what their goal is. They have it in front of them. They don't want to lose anything in order to get there. And I think them taking or losing a map, I think that would, not be good, I think, for the team on the other side of that, having to face the wrath of a potentially losing St. Clair College Call of Duty team. That's not what I want to see.
Yeah, that map is just a kind of a buzzsaw map for St. Clair. If you get on that map, you're in trouble, truly. If they get theirs set up, there's not much to come back from it. But we're going to go into Game 2 here, and Wichita State will have the bomb first to plant, and St. Clair will be on defense first.
Whoa.
And immediately 3 drop quick, so should be a quick work round for St. Clair, as Kaiser will have to try and hold this down himself. Can he pull it off? I guess we will find out right here and now as he is rotating away, and he does go down.
Yeah, Wichita State just entering a meat grinder there. I mean, it was fairly cut and dry as KB trying to do some artwork on his fallen comrade. I think, if I'm not mistaken, every member of Wichita didn't make it out, so I'm not sure why the round hasn't ended already. I mean, I think we're just as confused as the players are. Seawatts can give us a nice tour of the map here as we just, I guess, wait for the timer to go down. I mean, this is fairly irregular for Search and Destroy. Usually the round will just end when all the players on the other side get eliminated, but I guess not.
Yes, I guess even now Call of Duty does still have bugs.
Yeah.
Apparently, I mean.
So you got to fix the Codcaster, you got to fix the bug in Search and Destroy. I mean,
they're just
I think
killing
Seawatts
each other
just bored.
now.
He started killing his own teammates. So, but yeah, St. Clair gonna come out with a win. I think we might have some tech issues potentially once again. I think we're gonna find out a little bit more. So, yeah, I believe yes, something is wrong with the lobby. I guess they are gonna count that one though. Hopefully that won't be a. Okay, so we are being told from Prod that it was just the first round that bugged out. So hopefully things should be fairly normal after this. We're hoping, we're praying.
It's such an interesting angle here for Ripper. This window is just like, it's an interesting spot to say the least. There's so much you can do from there, kind of like shooting from the shadows of sorts, if you would say. But now Cootie taking up an interesting spot next to those stairs, kind of just snuggling into that corner, and everyone's just gonna like find their spot and set down and try to get this plant through safely. And they are going to plant with relative ease as well. And now sneaking up through the vent, Rupert taking out 1, taking out 2. Wow. What a play for St. Clair. They're in the vents. They're in the vents.
They're in the vents. Venting out is St. Clair, but they're gonna find another round win. Quickly again is the name of the game. All those kills coming in bunches right at the end of the round. So good job for St. Clair for getting that quick plant, then forcing Wichita into this awkward position. That was not a win for Wichita State. That was indeed going to St. Clair. So yeah, classic Codcaster once again, just acting up. But St. Clair find themselves with a 2-0 lead now. Wichita now get a chance to plant. We'll see where they go again. Hoping for this A rush once again. Last time we saw them try this plan, they just got absolutely shredded by St. Clair, but Deuce are going to find this opening pick, and now Wichita going to have a little bit of space as now they find a second one as well.
Yeah, Wichita State really showing their mettle this round as they actually have an advantage right now. And now an even bigger one as Cootie is left standing alone. Can Cootie complete the comeback though? And he does not. He goes down, and Wichita will take a round. And it is 2-1 for St. Clair.
That's a hard site to retake as well. I mean, it's a little too telegraphed. Cootie using the very top windows of that garage door to get some intel, but unfortunately, Deucer ready for that swing. I mean, it's very telegraphed when that garage door opens. I mean, you know, there's not really much you can do to hide where you're coming from, and not having utility as well, just not helping St. Clair in that situation, but that's okay. You still have a little bit of a lead. You go back on the attack now. This A site seeming to be the more popular one on dealership. Wichita State elected to control more of the mid points of this map, waiting for this utility to come out, for these cars to blow up. Because we saw one member of Wichita State go down because of a car explosion, so have to make sure you can clear that out if you want to try and get this plant down. That's what St. Clair is going to try and do. That garage door opening. Grouper shooting it closed, though. Not going to let anyone through from the side of Wichita. Cootie on this long flank right now. He's going to get rewarded for it. It's all going to be up to Kaiser. Don't even necessarily need to plant the bomb here. You could just try and go for this final kill if you really wanted to. Kaiser between a rock and a hard place now. He's got 3 members of St. Clair who are actively looking for him, and the bomb is down too. So he's going to make a decision where he wants to go.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's going to be hard for him here. And there it goes as he does go down. St. Clair wrapping that round up with some force, some show of force through the doorway there to, how do we say, close the proverbial door.
Into the jaws of Rupert, the waiting arms of St. Clair. Good response as well. I want to say, you know, you drop one early, Wichita State able to maybe build up some positive momentum in their favor, but St. Clair, like you said, shutting that door and continuing to stay dominant. If you're Wichita State, you need to find some answers quickly, because we know what happens when you give St. Clair time to just cook and really start to push. It's not going to be good, and not good as Caffell is going to follow Rupert finding first blood. And now St. Clair trying to turn up that aggression once again, limiting the space that they can move on this map. And Wichita State forced to hold these really tight angles. You can't afford to let another member go down.
Yeah, St. Clair just holding down this defense on, like, lock tight. And it's going to leave Wichita State in a vulnerable position where they know they have to move on St. Clair, and they have no option but to take the risk. They are going to find a way to sneak in, but now Kaiser taking the fight is going to lose. St. Clair wrapping that one up as well, 4-1, and suddenly things are looking quite grim for Wichita State.
Yeah, St. Clair 2 rounds away from securing this, and that's just perfectly poised and perfectly timed from St. Clair, waiting for this execution coming through from Wichita State to close the dragnet around them and just play off of contact, and they're rewarded for it. I mean, Wichita State really only one round we've seen where they've, obviously one round that they won, but besides that, it's just been all St. Clair all day. Hasn't even been close. You know, not forcing St. Clair into any of these 1vx situations. And that's what we were talking about. St. Clair just really in the driver's seat for most of this series, playing on a completely different level from Wichita State, but you still have to make sure you can close out the rest of the series. You can't let them think they get, oh, I think Rupert, he did get a quick look at Deucer, and he is going to pay for that. St. Clair tie it back up now, 3v3. Rupert with the bomb, trying to decide what he wants to do. See what the rest of his teammates can say about that.
I think he's just biding his time as Cootie is going to plant on the opposite side. So that is going to force Wichita State's hand to move themselves across the map, putting them at a deficit. And Rupert is going to go down, though. So now St. Clair at the disadvantage. Cootie holding his vents down. KB goes down. And suddenly it's Wichita State all the way. Cootie getting a pick, though. 2v1 situation. Cootie, can he do it? They are defusing. Cootie's got to make a move right now.
I don't
They
think
won't
he
get
has
there in time. That will be a round win for Wichita State. Incredible comeback from Wichita, who seemed to be out of it in that round until the very end.
Yeah, unfortunately, Cootie just a little bit too long going around the world there for that flank. I like the vision, but just had to be a little bit quicker to get back. And, you know, in that 1v3 situation, obviously not favoring St. Clair, but you still have a 2-round lead, and we saw how they played the last time they dropped around to Wichita State, so definitely not in dire straits anytime soon. You have a chance to come back and respond. Now Deucers picking up that bomb. for the Shockers.
Definitely expect to see a response from St. Clair here after that. And there we go. KB starting off strong, taking one with no opposition back. Almost takes a second, but almost dies himself. So going to take it easy now and try to get this health back before he makes another push. And he does just that, as all the utility is going to come through that window, kind of scaring KB off a bit as he has to back up. Deucer going to plant this bomb. KB trying to find information on anything. Does push him back to the wall. Can St. Clair get some momentum here? Capel trying to hold it down. Capel down. 3v1, 4v1, and there we go. St. Clair going to get the easy defuse. And that's the response we were expecting from St. Clair. A relative easy round win for St. Clair, and suddenly match point.
Yeah, and got to give credit to St. Clair for staying poised in that situation. I think that was perfectly executed. You have somebody playing close on that half window, and as soon as they have their lurking member rotate back in to pinch on the other side, that's when you see Rupert and KB hop through the window and just force that pinch onto Wichita. Nothing you can do in that situation, and now St. Clair find themselves on match point, and they're going to have the bomb in their control, so they're going to be able to play this however they want. I'd like to see them get another quick plant down. Looks like they are going to be full rushing this A hit. Trophy system from Rupert is going to go down, does get stunned out, however. Just trying to jiggle peek around that corner. Wichita also with a trophy, and that's going to eat that flash coming through from Rupert, but it doesn't matter as he's pushing through regardless. Finding Kaiser, another pick coming through for St. Clair. It's all up to Cauliflower now in this 1v3. Can he do it? He can't at all. St. Clair find themselves series point, a dominant win on S&D, and we've been saying that word a lot tonight because that's what it's been from St. Clair. Pure domination, full stop.
Yeah, they may not have been playing control this game mode, but they were definitely in control that whole time. And that goes entirely their way for the second point of the set.
Yeah, I was going to say one more to go from St. Clair, and we have host advantage, plus the fact that it is on vault. Now, I'll give it to Wichita State. They looked decent on vault and hardpoint, but S&D, you almost felt like it had to be the one to take off of St. Clair if you wanted to force this one to 4. Going into vault right now, I feel like we've seen this just so many times throughout the season. Vault control St. Clair, one would think it's almost confirmed. I don't want to be the one putting the word out there, but...
No, it's understandable. I mean,
I want to put the word out that we're back up, is what we're going to say in this case.
We are so
I think
back.
St. Clair was always up in this series, I think, but it's nice to see, it's nice to see yourself be reaffirmed in what you believe. And I believe St. Clair is going to take this one in map number 3. Like you said, going back to your home turf in vault. It is control. That's a mode you've had a lot of strengths with in the regular season. So I think if you're St. Clair, you're feeling all the confidence in the world right now.
Absolutely. St. Clair on cloud 9 right now. But got to give credit where credit is due. Our opponent has been no pushover tonight. Both times they've showed real grit and mettle as they, first game, kept the point gap relatively short compared to other teams throughout the season. I mean, it wasn't just a complete blowout for St. Clair in the first round. They really had to fight back, especially in the beginning, to take that first one. And now in the second game, they do drop 2 rounds to Wichita State. So Wichita State showing they're no pushover. They're in these playoffs for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, St. Clair, they definitely had their work cut out for them in game 1. I don't know if I can necessarily say game 2 as much. I feel like at some point, St. Clair kind of just figured out, took a couple rounds, figured out Wichita State, and then from there it was kind of smooth sailing. And I kind of feel like that's kind of how St. Clair operate on control on vault as well. Sometimes in the first round, you'll see them kind of take a look at what their opponent kind of like to do and how they're set up. And from there, usually it's one of 2 things. One, if they're willing to just sit back and not take space more aggressively than us, then we're just going to immediately cap objective and put the pressure on them, right? Like, these guys are no slouches. They do not like to wait in control. You'll see St. Clair sometimes what they're really good at is if you're willing to give up space, they'll be fine to take it over, and they'll take a point right under your nose before the game's even started. I mean, how many times, I'm trying to think, have we casted control on Vault for St. Clair, and they just take objectives for one of the 3 points that they score on Vault in a snap?
It's quick, and that's sort of
they make it nice for us.
That's sort of their calling card, is this quick aggression, and I think it really puts opposing teams in an opposite position, because I think sometimes teams in control might get a little too caught up in trying to go for kills, trying to build that lead up a little too much, then feeling comfortable to go for objectives. But St. Clair, they're sort of the opposite of that. They focus on getting those objectives early and quick, just so the round ends, you know, in a very, you know, swift fashion. And getting those objectives early does put a lot of pressure on the opposite team as well to try and find an answer to get one back, or to try and really speed through getting some of these picks. And St. Clair, they could just play off of that aggression and just make the other team uncomfortable. And even by saying that, sometimes they can even do the opposite of that. Sometimes they won't even focus on the objective at all and simply just try and farm kills. So that's what makes them so strong in this mode. They can play at a different pace no matter the situation, and they usually end up coming out on top.
And now up 2-0, St. Clair, they smell the blood in the water. They're hungry for the win. They're going to be looking to close this out as quickly as possible. They just want this third one. They want it to be over. It looks like we're going to be getting ready to go into the game here. These guys want to go and play some BO7. They want this to be done.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And I'm just saying, for Wichita State, number one thing you got to watch out for, do not let St. Clair be the ones to leave driveway as the last open objective. We know how insane KB and those AR men can get the C-Wads. But one more left to go. Will St. Clair take it in sweeping fashion, or do Wichita State cause 4?
Yeah, we're going to see St. Clair, like we were calling up before, going for these objectives early. They're going to get some progress on B. Wichita State finding some picks early, but they're going to have to move quick, as both C-Wads and Rupert already at the second echelon, but that contest coming through from Catho going to make things just a little bit interesting. St. Clair going to have to try and retake this site, but progression on A already starting, so Wichita State have to decide where they want to go, where they want to try and fight this. Now St. Clair has already made a lot of progress on both of these points. A almost already completely taken over by St. Clair, and it is going to be secured. And now St. Clair in a really good position to get themselves this first round win. And you look at the live total as well. They've already built a lead up there as well.
Yeah, St. Clair just dispersed themselves across the map very well in the beginning there. They do take the round very simply there. But I want to point this out. They forcibly stretched Wichita State across the map by doing so themselves. They attacked both points at the same time. In fact, it kind of seems like they seem to put pressure on B to make them think it was a full push for B, and then kind of silently took A a bit there, and then Wichita State said, oh no, we need to go there now. And so they got kind of spread out, and then it was just holding it down from there. So really good move from St. Clair there, able to take the first one pretty easily.
And that's what we were talking about, just being able to change up the pace of play. And like you said, spread Wichita State thin across this map. St. Clair already finding their first win of this control match, as Wichita State trying to get progress to this A side. Rupert, though, trying to make things difficult. Trading out shots is going to clear out that progress. He's going to get some more for him. Catfell not able to secure that kill, as KB going to come out on top. Once again, St. Clair getting a nice foothold early. Wichita State don't really look like they have a game plan right now. Everybody's split up. St. Clair just exploiting that. Rupert going to slide in, find that pick as well. Cootie adding another one, just continuing to dominate this dynamic duo of Cootie and Rupert, making plays happen. KB already on the other side of the map. Look at this Rupert as well, going for this spawn trap potentially. He's just running through with the pistol, and it doesn't matter what he uses. He's going to find a pick no matter what. And now St. Clair in the driver's seat. 26 seconds left in the round, and it's already way too late for Wichita State to think about making a comeback when you have St. Clair frying them like the way they are now.
Absolutely not. And Rupert kind of just running and gunning there with that pistol moments ago. That was really funny to see coming through that doorway. Wichita State kind of just going, ah, crap. and then just drops to the floor. Not much you can do in a situation like that. Caught off guard. Cootie dropping 2 right there, and this is going to close out. Oh, maybe not. We'll see how long you can hold this point. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Done. Oh, St. Clair.
You thought they had you for a second there.
For a second, yeah.
It doesn't matter. St. Clair, like we said, they'll play the objective. They'll play the frags. They'll do it both in the same series. Look at this. I mean, it was clinical from all sides there. Everybody getting their chance to make a big play. And now they find themselves not just on match point, but series point. And they just look completely unstoppable right now.
BO7 calls, I guess.
When duty calls, I suppose. When the call of duty comes in, that was terrible. But not terrible is St. Clair's performance on Vault Control. And yeah, they just need one more. Like we said, serious point for them. Let's see how they want to do it.
Trophy system going out first, of course. Trying to take control very quickly with the trophy system. They want to hold this down and lock it down and take the point. But Wichita State not letting them through very easily here, as it's gone back and forth so far for this point A. We'll see if St. Clair can adapt and maybe send some people to B. And we do see that KB now going for point B as well as Rupert kind of in between both points. They are going to spread out and kind of separate Wichita State from each other, try and take some control here. And Seawatts battling it out and does go down, but takes somebody down with him as well. Rupert taking out the KO, and we're seeing that progress go up on both points now. So as I called out, it is happening in real time. They divide themselves across both, and now Wichita State, no answer for it. A, secure, only B to go. Seawatts taking out the trophy system, gonna bide some time here as they try to set up on B. B has full reset. They're gonna have to take it back from the beginning. And I guess we're going to have a little bit of a longer match than we were expecting. With that, all that momentum seems to have kind of dissipated now as St. Clair resets and goes back for B just now.
Live total tied for a brief moment, but now Wichita taking the lead back once again. Like you said, St. Clair having to work just a little bit harder to find this win, but they're still going for these frags. Rupert trading out shots with Calliope. Not gonna find it as KB on the opposite end of the map. Gonna grab another pick as well. The rest of St. Clair doing their job, getting back to the site. Just slowly but surely making their way forward, and Rupert just absolutely shredding the members of Wichita State right now. That's a triple for him, and he's looking for more. He's gonna swing out, and he just is getting everything he wants. Finally gonna go down, but the bloodshed already too much for Wichita State. That's going to do it. St. Clair, a nice, easy breezy win, and they booked their ticket to the semifinals.
I feel like that was all Rupert there at the end. He really held them back to their spawn zone so his teammates could capture the point. Look at that. Just holding it down up the stairs. No, you don't. Not coming that way. I think he gets a whiff here, saying, oh, this guy's going around the back, and stops him dead in his tracks, and then unfortunately goes down to the 2v1 situation there. But it was still enough for his team to cap that point and bring home the win. St. Clair takes it 3-0 fashion.
They don't even look phased either. It's just business
Another day
as
at the
usual for the guys that, I mean, can you blame them? I mean, with the way it happened.
No, you cannot. Very good stuff, and I feel like, you know, I kind of called it, right? St. Clair, the second they were able to sort of control the space around driveway on Vault, they immediately then find a way to pin Wichita back so badly to the point where you just start forcing their spawns. And the second you can literally decide where your opponent's going to spawn in, I mean, the holds you can create are just generational, as you saw on multiple different occasions. It doesn't matter whether you're attacking or defending for control. It seemed like St. Clair, they were just all over the place.
Yeah, they're just too dialed. I think that's the only real way to say it. I mean, they're playing on a different level. I mean, we talked about the difference between teams in the Super Conference versus teams that are not, and you really see the skill discrepancy shown there. I mean, we talked to a lot of these players, and they feel like they're just on the cusp of going pro, and if they can keep playing like that, I absolutely believe
that is fully possible for multiple players on this roster right now.
Absolutely. I mean, these guys are just at the top of their game. They're doing insane things every day here. I mean, we get to witness it firsthand. These guys are incredible, truly. And now they continue to trounce their way through the playoffs, and now they will face Cumberland or Conestoga in the next round, correct?
No,
they
on
got
the bracket. LBCC.
Yeah, LBCC in the semis.
Yeah,
Oh,
LBCC
yes,
in the
yes.
semis.
My mistake. My mistake.
No,
yes.
that's all right because I
all
think they're
good.
already thinking about that potential finals matchup with either Cumberland or Conestoga.
Right. Yes.
But
Those will
obviously,
be finals. Yes.
Obviously, you need to take care of your business first things first.
Yeah, absolutely. And, first things first for us too, we got to close this one
Great segue.
out. So first, I want to thank all of our sponsors. Thank you, Tim Hortons, Subway, Onezo, Alienware, the SRC, and the SCC Alumni Association. Thank you so much for doing what you do, and also shout-outs, just because we give them a lot, but one more for pre-fire especially. But there's one more thing we have in store for tonight. We're going to be showing this on every stream until it happens. Winter Wonderland. Everybody show up and show out. This is a completely student-run event comprised of Marvel Rivals, Fortnite Duos, Smash Ultimate. We have some casual events down on the bottom as well, such as Mario Kart, gingerbread decorating houses, and also TCG battles, all happening on December the 6th in the Nexus Arena. So if you see one of these posters around campus, please scan the QR code and make it happen. Come down, show out, and show your support. But from everybody else here, that's going to do it for us. Thank you to the players, the coaches for putting up a show. Thank you for everybody in the back room. I want to give a special shout out to Adam, Lello, Hayden, and I believe if there's anybody else, Jake as well, who's in there. I think that's going to be all for now. So thank you, everyone in the prod staff. Thank you, Evan and Brendan, two marvelous casters on the desk. And for everyone else here at Saints Nation, we are going to be signing out. See you guys in the next one.
I'll have to go BO2 or BO4.
Black Ops 3.
Black Ops. Oh, actually, the first MW3. Black Ops 2.
I would say MW3. I would say MW19.
Black Ops 4. Infinite Warfare. I'll probably say BO4. I got a lot of hate.
BO4. Probably Capture the Flag.
Capture the Flag or Uplink?
Uplink.
Uplink. Uplink. I have a lot of faith that someone from our St. Clair roster is going pro, so for one of us to go pro.
I just hope they don't up like the maps, and I hope like the NACE works.
See how much I can be better than this COD.
Uplink's gonna be back. Getting the feel of the old CODs back, and then mixed with the new ones. What I'm most looking forward to is to see like all the boys make it.
Div 1 LAN.
I think it's just a win. Like, our team has been going through a lot of changes. I want to see how far we can push it and see if we can finish third or get like a podium.
Looking forward to competing with tough opponents and having a good time with my team.
I really want to break that top 5, top 4 threshold.
Winning seal.
I'm looking for revenge on CCL.
Getting top 4?
To be honest, nothing. I don't really have anything to look forward to. Next semester is what I'm looking forward to.
I'm looking to win CCL. We only lost that one, so. Yo, MP.
Yeah, no, this map is actually crazy, I'm not gonna lie.
Water man.
Yo, Chris God, what the hell are you doing, bro? We got a match, bro. You're late.
Yo, I gotta go.
Yo, log in, bro.
I gotta go.
Now I'm good. First gamer tag. In like 2008, I had the gamer tag Apple I-50.
McBender 91.
Alonzo.
Oh, it's a terrible gamer tag. Dan 2 Rock 4.
God Rupert. C9 Frosty. I wasn't on C9.
Sock my sock. Like the Pokemon, not like I don't know. Yeah.
Electro Knives. Oof, oof. 2 Z's, by the way. Oof. I don't know what I was thinking.
It was like either Mega Jack or Super Jack and then some numbers when I was like 6 years old on Minecraft.
That's absolutely horrible.
My name is Christopher C. Wads Odell. I play Call of Duty, and I'm an AR.
In the driver's seat, not much resistance as Seawads puts an end to that. Oh my goodness, what a headshot. As well as another member of the Huskies looking to take him out, but he cannot.
So the way I got into college is actually, it's really on my friend Steele. Steele really played a big part of it. So we went to an event. I met him in middle school, and we ended up going to a MLG Anaheim, and it was the year of World War II. So whenever that was, and he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna be." We weren't really the closest of friends, but he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna be going to the event as well," and he was at a booth when he was on E United before he went pro, and my homie Steele, he waited in line for, I think it was like 2 hours to play against him. We ended up playing against him, and we beat him in the 2v2. And then my dad was really into competitive Call of Duty, so then he was like, that Christmas is when I got my PlayStation, my scuff, my monitor, and he said, "Here, go see what you can do in COD." I had I would say it was, I wouldn't say like a struggled through childhood, but like it was definitely a little rough childhood. So like with my dad playing baseball, obviously like he was traveling, and it was hard for me to like see him while he's like obviously across the world playing baseball. So there was a point in time where I eventually needed more support, and he gave up what he had to do and came and supported me. So like he takes like a lot of pride in pride in me, I guess you could say, right? So always throughout life, it was always like, no matter what, like if I had a goal, if I had a passion, he would always support it no matter what it was. It didn't have to be about a sport. It didn't have to be, it could be coloring a book. It could be coloring a book, bro. Like if I like coloring, he's gonna support that all the way through. Like I can't remember a time when my dad told me like, know something about my passion. Like if it was something you could tell I was passionate about, he always like made sure it happened. No matter what, he's always told me like, oh, I'm gonna go pro in something. Like no matter what it is, he knows like I have that strong attributes of just like he was a baseball player, so he knows like he's really like pushing me to go take the next step. Like he knows like it's more of a mental thing than actually like it happening. Like I already have all the skill set. But I would say yeah, he's definitely like the #1 supporter. Like if I ever need a question, if I ever need anything, it's always like, yo dad, what's up? First I went to Ohio when I moved straight from high school, so went to go play in Rio Grande, Ohio, and just hated it. Then Bendy ended up saying they needed people since this is when Cody and Rupert were like all leaving and stuff.